Hi, Bob Coppedge, Crotchety, Old Geek. This is the second in this series. First of all, I want to thank everybody for the positive feedback we got from the first one. It was kind of fun to do, talking about IT careers, getting into them and all that kind of fun stuff. Moving forward, probably we're going to go downhill from here, so I'd stop listening and watching if I were you right now. Anyway, but I want to talk a little bit about what happened last week with my wife and I when we were in Vegas. I went for the Level Platforms Partner Conference, and my wife actually took my mother-in-law with her. Yes, Vegas, wife and mother-in-law. Can't beat it. Actually, we get along fine. And they just visited and all that kind of thing. But the thing I want to talk about is when we left. We stayed at the Cosmopolitan, very nice hotel, no problems. But we were told at the end that we actually had a $32 bill in the minibar. We did not use the minibar at all. But that's when I found out that here's what they're doing now with the minibar. They actually put pressure sensors on the refrigerator for where each device, or excuse me, each item will sit. Bottles, snacks, whatever. If those sensors register a change in weight for a significant period of time, meaning a couple of seconds, the system automatically registered that as a consumed item, and it's added to your bill. All right, think about that. Prior to that, you had a system that the only recording of data, the only recording of consumption of the goods, overpriced as they are, was by somebody checking out what was in the refrigerator either every day or when you checked out. Very labor intensive. Somebody figured out to add a network to the, or device to the network, right? Not necessarily a PC, Mac, or anything like that, but a device that actually just had a collection of sensors inside the refrigerator and on top. That is really cool on the part of somebody thinking of a best way to implement a system. All right, what's a great way to save money? By cutting down on manpower need. And especially the manpower need, you take a look at a hotel that has hundreds of rooms. If you eliminate the need for that person to go every visit or every day to verify the minibar, absolutely fantastic. Now here's the problem. It also opens up significant opportunities for incorrect readings. For example, in our case, what we did was we put other stuff. We bought pop. And we had to move some things in the refrigerator. And when we did that, it registered them as consumed even though they weren't. So, here's one of the differences with IT people, is IT people often will try to figure out how can we systematically try to identify. We'll talk about putting RFID, barcoding or whatever, every device, so we actually read the sensors, do all that kind of, which raises the complexity and the cost of such a system and the maintenance of the system astronomically. But in this case, what they did was they simply said, if the customer questions it, take it off the bill. How do I know that? Because we called the front desk when we're checking out. We said, hey, we have this bill. The guy said, hey, well, looks like you took a couple of bottles of vodka out. I explained, no, we didn't. We put some pop in there, and the guy said, okay, no problem, we'll take it off your bill. And then he said, then there's the romance kit. I said, the romance kit? He goes, yes, it's a little package that includes condoms and lubricant and mints. I don't know about the mints, whatever. He says, it looks like that was taken. I remember my wife waving that in front of me in jest with, again, my mother-in-law there. She was out on the balcony at the time. And I said very simply to the hotel, I said, I'm going to say one sentence and you tell me what you want to do. I'm here in Vegas with my wife and my mother-in-law. And he stifled his laughter and said, I'll take it off the bill immediately. Bottom line is, by giving service that basically took it off the bill immediately without any questions, very cheerfully, all that kind of stuff, it blunted the possible problems that you would have by incorrect readings. So you have people who never touch the minibar, in which case there's not going to be any problems. You have people who actually touch the minibar and actually drink the stuff, consume the stuff. Yeah, that's cool. And then you have the people who move stuff in error. Probably a very small percentage of people who use the hotel rooms, and the service desk was told immediately, don't question it, don't bicker, just take it off the bill. Now, I'm sure they're probably going to have somebody who's going to go in and do that inventory just to make sure. But that's the exception, not the rule. That's cool stuff. So anyway, look for those kind of opportunities from an IT and a system standpoint. Look for those ways where you can cut down on manpower, and then don't over-systematize them. Don't make it so that the system is going to solve every single aspect. you can apply a small piece of manpower to handle those exceptions. Still ends up with a win-win. Manageable systems, upgradable systems, demonstrable systems, and still a human being who can actually take care of the exceptions. Pretty cool stuff. My only question is, with that romance kit having the mints, those mints on the pillows that are left by hotel staff, you don't think, nah, this is the crotchety old geek. Take care.